Welcome back to Craft Computing. As always, I'm Jeff, although today I'm a little bit congested and fairly tired. I've been sick most of the weekend, but that's not going to stop me from making a video this week. It is, however, going to stop me from filling this pint glass. I know, I'm sorry. You guys have a certain expectation of me, but even I have limits. See? It's not full. This week I had originally planned on doing a very large and complex build with an i7-5960X and two RX 580s. That build is still coming, but due to not all the parts arriving, me getting sick, and actually the power supply on my 12-core Xeon workstation giving up the ghost, I'm having to shift my schedule around a little bit. Instead today, we're going to be taking a look at the InWin 301 Micro-ATX tempered glass case. Let's just get this out of the way. I love the minimalist design on this case. Every aspect of this case was designed with a purpose, and it seems nothing was lost in translation from the drawing board to the physical product. Let's go over the basic specs first. This case supports Micro-ATX and Mini-ATX form factor motherboards, allows for mounting of up to a 160mm ATX power supply, dual 120mm fans or radiator support up front, 120mm fan or radiator in the rear, and another dual 120 fans in the bottom of the case. CPU coolers of up to 158mm in height are also supported, as well as GPUs up to 330mm long, 265 if you're using a front radiator. Drive support is moderate with a single 3.5-inch bay and dual 2.5-inch bays tucked up neatly in the front of the case. As I mentioned, the outside of this case is very minimalistic. The door is a smoked tempered glass panel with a quick release on top that doesn't require tools to open or fiddling with the four-corner thumb screws that you often have to on tempered glass builds. On the opposite side, it does have a couple screws holding it in place, but they're thumb screws and they are captive, so you unscrew those and pop the side panel right off. The power supply is kept in an attic with plenty of room for cable management. The front of this case is absolutely no frills, save for the red accent light behind the InWin logo and the front I/O. A simple but adequate front panel. There's a power and a reset button, front panel audio, and a pair of USB 3.0 ports. The surprising thing about such a small case was putting the system together, there was plenty of room for just about everything. And there are a lot of little touches that make this an excellent case. Things like a full color manual and the screws coming in a very nice bag with everything clearly labeled. The cable shroud is removable, allowing you to run the cables where you need them to go, then bundle them up when you're done. No more fishing cables through a grommet and then either not having enough room or not being able to stack them properly. And as I said with this case, it's all about the little touches, such as including a PCI sag bracket so your GPU stays nice and straight and square inside the case. There are just a couple negatives to point out, and really pointing them out I am being a little nitpicky. The SSD mounts, while they are out of the way, are an absolute pain to install, and getting power and SATA ran to them is even more of a nightmare. The fans on the bottom of the case occupy space normally used for a lower PCIe slot, so keep that in mind when designing your system. My GPU takes up slots 2 and 3. I believe even in those slots the fans would sit too close for my comfort. Cable management is also going to be met with a little bit of difficulty here, as my USB 3.0 and front audio headers on the board are going to be very tight with any fans installed along the bottom. Overall, the InWin 301 has quite a bit going for it in both looks and usability. The build quality is fantastic, and with the exception of a few admittedly nitpicky things, this is a case that seems to have everything you need to get a good-looking build without breaking the bank. Thanks for watching this one, guys. Make sure to subscribe because, as I mentioned, I've got a pretty epic build for next week, assuming the rest of the parts come in and I'm not sick and my main machine has a power supply that actually works. And you know what, just subscribe. I promise it's going to be great. Drop me a like and let me know in the comment section what you think about this case. I enjoy hearing your feedback. Now, I may or may not finish this beer. I'm going to go get some rest. I'll catch you in the next one. Oh, I'm going to finish the beer. Oh yeah, I'm feeling better already.